Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm so glad you're here this morning. Have a great show lined up. Got a great guest with really good information you're going to enjoy. But first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. School getting ready to start. Make sure you run by and check out all the programs they offer there. High today, 88, and low tonight, 79. So it's not a lot of variance right there, but here we are. The water temperature, I had to double check it to make sure. Water temperature is the highest it's been all year, folks. They gave a reading this morning of 88 degrees. That is warm, and it's going to really have an impact on a lot of fish being caught too, or maybe not caught during the middle of the day, but early in the morning and late afternoon, these fish are moving around. All right, now take a look at our river readings. We hadn't shown them last day or two because there's really nothing going on there. The Apalachicola Bluntstown is at a 2.1, and not much movement there. And the Choctawhatchee at Caryville is at a 3.1, not much movement there. But I know they are catching fish at both river systems. They're really doing well on them. The tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Today is August the 6th, Thursday. Neap tides again today, but looking on into Saturday morning. I know you want to take a look at it. Saturday morning is going to be looking good. So high tide Saturday morning is going to really get on up there, and then a fast falling tide Saturday. So take a look at it, but not much tidal flow today. And our marine forecast will be at southwest at about 10 to 15. Been blowing all week. Been a warm breeze been blowing. All right, we're going to take our break and be right back with our guest. All right, welcome back, and Captain Rick Corley.
Good morning.
Always great to have Rick on. He called me the other day. We were talking about some situations on the show, and we had a good conversation about boat prices. And Rick, I'm gonna let you take it there because there's some really good points. And again, now this coming from somebody who makes how many boats have you done in your lifetime?
6,700 plus.
6,700 plus. So this. Okay, so tell us, a lot of us, we trade cars in, we trade trucks in and boats and everything, and we try to sell them, and sometimes we don't get as much as we think they're worth.
Right. Well, and it's human nature. What I've got is gold, and what I'm trying to buy from you is junk. So somewhere in between that ridiculously low price and ridiculously high price is the real price of the boat. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you'll have people that will go in and they will buy a boat and refurbish the thing. Well, and I like to put it in a vernacular for automobiles, for example. If I go and change oil in your truck, mm-hmm. I haven't really increased the value. That's routine, normal maintenance. That's called expendables. If I put new tires on it, for about a week, you might can count it, but after that, they're used tires, and nobody's going to pay you what you paid for those tires. They depreciate rapidly. Mm-hmm. Electronics on boats, quite often, people will spend a lot of money. Well, they do wonderful stuff, but in 6 months, you can buy something for the same price or do twice as much, mm-hmm. because the evolution of electronics is going so fast. So a lot of people will buy a boat and they think they ought to count every penny they ever put in it, including how much gas they burned and everything else. Well, you're not going to get that back. And no, that's not going to happen. Yeah. The real world is we have pricing guides. We have NADA, Buck, Parker McNew, the Martin INA depreciation scales, things of that nature, soulboat.com. A lot of people will go on Yacht World and Boat Broker and those type places. Well, that's asking prices. I can ask $1 million for my house, but I guarantee you I won't get more than 150 mm-hmm. in this market. Asking and getting is two different things. A lot of times people look at things and you become used to what's happening on your boat, mm-hmm. and you may have a little shortcut around actually a fault. But you're so used to doing it, you don't look at it as being a fault or a gig, as they call it, mm-hmm. or something wrong with the boat, because you figured out how to make it work anyway. Mm-hmm. That's human nature. Automobiles, same way. For example, if I bought a '68 Camaro, that's a good automobile. Mm-hmm. That was a collector's item. But if it's got rust on it and all that, it's not going to bring the price that one that has been cleaned up, all the rust taken off of it, Imron paint, you know, positive traction rear end, 4-speed Hurst, and high performance V8. Those things add to the value. Rolled and tucked Naugahyde interior, an Alpine sound system, that adds. But to change the oil, put new tires, no, you know, that makes no difference. New fan belts, that's stuff that you've got to do anyway from time to time. Mm-hmm. Well, a boat's the same way. And boats, we categorize them. Buck came out with a category condition and equipment scale way back when they first started.
And that, I was looking at that, and that's a used boat price guide. I mean, those folks that are experts in it.
That's correct. Well, a lot of people will go in and they'll see, wow, I've seen boats advertised for $35,000 like this. Mm-hmm. Yes, you have, but they've been completely refurbished in that particular case. But the other boat you're looking at, your boat, for example, might be $18,000. And the reason being is you don't have the extra equipment, you haven't had all the refurbishing done. It's just an average everyday boat, and it's depreciated over a given length of time.
And what they did, they broke it down like into 6 categories, right?
Right.
And now this is really, and I had never seen this, and we're going over before the show. That makes a lot of sense.
Sure. So, you got restorable, and that's enough of the hull and engine exists to restore the boat to a usable condition. Well, you deduct 50 to 80% of the price of the boat because that's the lowest category. Then you got poor, substantial yard work required and devoid of extras, and 25 to 50%.
So that knocks it off, okay.
Yep. 25 to 50. And then you got fair, which requires usual maintenance to prepare for sale. That's 10 to 20% off. And then you got, if it's an average boat, average equipped, you're looking at no adjustment for price. If it's above average, which is you got better than normal care and it's equipped with extra electrical and electronic gear, you're looking at 10 to 15%. If it's Bristol, that is excellent. That is better equipped and in better condition than when it came from the factory. Mm-hmm. Now that'll add 15 to 25%.
So you're adding on to it then?
Yes.
Now, in your 600 or 700 boats you've done in your career, how often do you run across that?
I've done probably 12 to 15 boats that I would rate as Bristol.
Really?
Yeah. Now, I've had a lot of them that are above average.
Yeah.
They're, especially around here because you got a lot of people that are knowledgeable about boats and they take care of them. I've also had some that I didn't want to ride across the bay in because I was afraid I might not get back the same day I left. But, you know, that's rare too. Most people around here take care. The other thing that influences things is the type of boat. If it's a sailboat, you can see here they rate them by North Atlantic, South Atlantic, and Florida, Gulf of Mexico and exclusive of the Florida coast, Great Lakes, North Pacific, and the Southern Pacific. And
okay. Let's take a break. We're going to come back and go over those values because I did not realize they broke them down into areas. I guess because of different wear and tear. Let's take a break real quick. We'll finish this up, okay?
Very good.
Welcome back. Today with Captain Rick Corley, getting a good lesson in used boat prices and all. Before we get back to Rick, let's look at a couple of pictures been sent in last night. Check this out. Wow. Trevor Ben got in from work the other day and went out the other night and got some really nice flounder. And I had a good time. Trevor Ben over there.
I bet somebody eat that old dead fish.
I bet they did too. Now this is Trevor's a good outdoorsman and he does a lot of stuff. I got this is all my teaching friends. I know the kids don't like you and pick on you, but you have to go to school. You're the teacher. To all my teaching friends, we got to go to school. Some of y'all are already back. I'm getting, and some of us are getting ready to go today and tomorrow. Okay, so that's basically what I want to show. Now I do have one more. I want to show this one right here. Okay, this is I got an email on this one from a fellow teacher. He said, "Hey Winston, I'm a teacher and I got the opportunity to go over to West Bay a couple of times last week before I had to report back to school this past Monday. I landed the red on flatlining a big LY on the surface with my mom and dad. I got to go back later in the week with my uncle and cousin, and we gigged 9 flounder from 1:30 a.m. to daylight. Wishing all the other teachers a great school year as well. Thanks, Cody Carroll, 5th grade teacher at Freeport Middle School." So Thank you, Cody, and I know that's a good way to get back to school and
That's
all.
good eating too. Woo.
Excellent. So you see what people are doing. I do have. Let me show one more picture. Milton Prescott sent this in. A friend of mine's son and grandson fishing the past weekend. He was having a ball. Thought you would like it. I watch the show every day. Think all the information and pictures are great. Keep up the good work and God bless. Thank you, Milton Prescott, for sharing that with us and the nice email. Okay, now we're getting back. Boats. This time of year, I bought it, wait till the end of the season. I want to get a bargain. And really, I don't know if this is a good time to buy or sell, but I know people are starting to look in September especially.
The market has been, since '08, it's a buyer's market.
Okay.
Period. And yeah, but in the off season is the best time to buy a boat. It'll drop down. The demand drops.
Now this little chart here is
the other one is adjustments for scale for the areas, South Atlantic and Florida, or Gulf of Mexico exclusive of the Florida coast, Great Lakes, Midwest, North Pacific, South Pacific coast. And depending on the size boat, the type boat, and the demands they see, they have people like myself that we send in. We don't send in any information about who's buying, but we know what the boat's sold for, and so on, like soulboat.com. And NADA, I'm on their pricing guides, and we send in the information as to the type boat and what it's sold for and how many of them we're doing. Well, they collate all of that when they get it, and they start looking at it and say, well, for example, in the North Pacific region, power boats under 19 foot bring 20% extra, because out there they don't have all the pretty sandy beaches and they don't have lots of marinas, they have a few. So a lot of boats are anchored out and they need a little tender to get back and forth from the bigger boats. So the small boats are selling pretty well out there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Houseboats along the Florida coast, like Swanee River and places like that, the houseboats are in demand, so they bring an extra 10% here.
Just along the Gulf Coast here.
Now you get up in the Great Lakes and Midwest, they'll bring 15% more money, because a lot of houseboats on the Tennessee River, they're very popular. Out in the Lake of Ozarks in Missouri and Table Rock there in northwest Arkansas, and on the Arkansas River, the houseboats are fairly plentiful, but they're very popular and in demand. So it not only is the type boat, the condition, the equipment, but it also depends on the area you're selling in. So all of those things come into play. And sometimes people get upset. They say, well, my boat is worth more than that. No, it's not. Sorry, but no. Because we don't take sides. What I do is I take all the information, and to start out with, it's objective, because we'll take all of the information, put it together, and I will run the equipment that they have and run these prices and the price of the boat, figure out what each book says it's worth, put those together and average them out. Then also, I will, a lot of times, if I have the availability, I will do soulboat.com and pull comparable boats within a year before, year after, 3-year period there, pull all the boats out there for sale and average all those prices. And then I put all that together and look at the equipment. And then that's where the subjective part, with the experience that I have of 46 years of doing this and seeing a lot of boats, then I start saying, okay, this boat fits here. And it can be from, high to low, restorable, all the way to Bristol. Well, once I get to that point, then I start saying, okay, I got to adjust that price. That's how I arrive at the price of the boat. It's not willy-nilly just walk up and say, it's worth this. No, it takes a lot of time. I will spend as much time in the office going over and writing up the recommendations and writing up the report as I do doing the inspection of the boat. And it takes me about an hour for every 10 foot of length. For example, a 40-foot boat will take me 4 hours to go through it. It'll take me that long in the office to be able to put all this together and write it up in a report. And that's the reason. I don't have an axe to grind. I'm getting paid to furnish the information. But my information is based on facts, and my opinion is based on facts. And that's why we're paid to do what we do. We don't, a guy looks at a boat and he falls in love with it. He forgets all these little things, and he
Yeah.
gets by
Yeah,
us and says,
that.
yeah, I got to have this boat.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. But my job there is to try to keep his feet planted on the ground. I said, no, might be one you want to just walk on by and let's go find another one like it that's in better shape.
Yeah.
On the other hand, he comes in there and he thinks, well, I don't want to pay that much, but this boat is a lot better than the other boat. Yeah, well, they ask you more money. I said, because it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
In other words, you try to keep them on level ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's take our last break. We'll be right back with Rick. All right, welcome back. Zero Captain Rick Corley. Let's take a look at our fishing game time first, though. It's brought to us by Mark Cowart of Counts Real Estate. We're looking at 6:01 to 8:01 this morning, and this evening 6:28 to 8:28. And get a chance to go to those opportunities. It's going to be cooler that part of the day too, morning or late afternoon. One of the things we're talking about, Rick, you certainly want, if you're going to buy a new car, new truck, or used car, used truck, you're certainly going to drive it. So we were the same way with a boat.
If you're going to buy any boat, have it surveyed. And the reason being is we're an unbiased third party that I don't care. If you don't buy the boat, that's fine. If you buy the boat, that's okay too. But get somebody to look at it and tell you what's wrong with it. Even new boats can come in. They're man-made. They come in on a truck or they come in on their own bottom. Something can happen in between. And they're more likely to fix the things you find wrong before you pay them than after.
Oh, yeah.
That's just human nature.
Yeah.
So even on a new boat, have it surveyed. It's cheap money to make sure that you're not getting something that's going to be a lemon or having a problem down the road. And a sea trial is important. We had a boat here the other day, went out, and the right engine just quit while we were sitting there idling. We was looking at something else. Come to find out, the fuel module had gone bad. Well, that happens. I mean, that's why you do a sea trial. Well, they took the boat, fixed it. I had to go out and sea trial it again the other day. The owner's happy, the boat's working right, and it's done. But it would have been a problem had he bought that boat and then it failed.
Yeah.
Well, then it's on your nickel. So that's one of the reasons you want to have a survey done. But the other thing is, insurance companies, they want either an accredited or a certified marine surveyor. Society of Accredited Marine Surveyors accredits theirs, and the National Association of Marine Surveyors Global certifies theirs. I happen to be both. The other thing is, a surveyor should not be in any other type business. He should be a surveyor. If he's a shipyard owner, a superintendent, or if he works in a shipyard, if you go into that yard and he does a survey on that boat, that's a conflict of interest.
Had a fox in the hen house. Huh?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, that's great work that was done in that shipyard. Well, yeah, because you're part owner. You don't want to do that. The other thing is, if they're doing it part-time, they're what we call wannabes. They're playing with the game.
Yeah.
You want somebody that's in this to make a living, and this is all he does, and that's all I do.
Yeah.
Is marine survey work.
What are some of the things when people are going out to buy the boat this time of year? What are some of the things they're going to look at? I know you do a lot of power boats and all.
Yeah, my biggest portion of my surveys is 85% or better is power boats. Probably closer to 90%. I do sailboats. I do houseboats. I do diesel or gas. It doesn't matter. I don't want to sound arrogant. I don't like arrogant people. But I'm the only surveyor that's taken all the tests of SAMs and NAMs both and passed it and gotten certified and accredited. I'm also a certified marine investigator with the International Association of Marine Investigators. Been going to sea since 1958, and I've been licensed since 1964. And I retired my master and chief engineer's license in 2010. I'm still licensed, but I don't operate under it. And that way I don't have to go take the test. I put it in what they call continuity. And so in court I'm an expert witness, but I'm not going to run a boat for a living anymore. I'm strictly, what I do is survey work. So, one of the surveys I don't do is I don't do engine surveys because I want the business referred from mechanics. And if I eat in his rice bowl, he wouldn't send me business, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
So I let them do the engine survey part of it, and I do the rest of the boat. And
little things like steering cables and stuff like that. I know on small boats, a lot
Yep.
of times those steering cables are just give you a
yeah,
fit at times.
you can find burrs on them. You can find pulleys beginning to go bad.
Uh-huh.
All kind of things. But a lot of boats now are using either Sea Star or hydraulic steering. It's hydraulic. So what you look for there is hydraulic leaks, things of that nature, because it kind of gets messy if they're leaking. But they work real well and they're pretty reliable. Trim tabs, sometimes they work, sometimes they begin to give trouble. We look at wiring, plumbing. If you really are redoing a boat, what you ought to do is have the Marine Patrol or the Coast Guard or whoever oversees it actually look at this boat as it's being refurbished. That way, sometimes if you do 90% refurbishing, you can get a new birthday on a boat. But they have to see it from the day one.
Okay.
If you don't, you can't. You put the cart heart of the horse, you're not going to get it.
Well, what fascinates me too, and this weekend, this past weekend tournament down in Carabel was the fascinating. We looked at the boats, how they've changed over the years, and we fish out of old Grady White.
Yeah.
Well, and you know how good that's a good old boat.
It's a great boat.
But some of the newer people coming in with a lot more money than we have what we call the go fast boats.
Yep.
The big containers with the 3 motors on the back and all. And it doesn't matter really which boat you take out there. If you know how to fish, you're going to catch the fish. But
I've seen a lot of big bass caught out of a canoe.
I know it.
Yeah,
And,
or
but
a John
it's
boat.
fascinating how the design has changed over the years and all. And you go to a fishing tournament, especially in a place like that, you can see you can run the whole gamut of the boat styles.
One thing I've always had is kind of a conundrum to me. You see people fishing on the bank, they're throwing as far offshore as they can. And you see the guy in the boat and he's throwing up against the bank and both of them catching fish. What's wrong with this fish?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
I mean, you know,
it's
fishing.
I really enjoyed seeing the different style of boats and all. And at a place like that when a tournament. But the old Grady Whites, a lot of them have been well taken care of.
Yep.
And they were well built to start with.
Yep.
And that's what we fish with. We're going to about run out of time, Rick, and people know how to get a hold of you. If they need something or just advice, they just call you and say, "What do you think about this?" I guess you'd be willing to.
Yeah, I'll spend a little time talking to anybody about anything they're trying to find. If I got to do 2 or 3 hours now, I'm gonna charge you for that. That's how I make my living. But if it's a question I can answer in 5-10 minutes, I don't mind.
That sounds good. Thank you so much, buddy.
Yep.
All right. Got him recorded now. We'll give him a call. He's been with us since day one. Appreciate his support here on Panhandle Outdoors. And we appreciate you watching our show. Always do something good for your fellow man today. Have a great day and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.